This Valentine gift of mine may be a little late, but fuck it. Better late than never, right? Anyways, for today's episode of Storytime, I want to continue from where episode 1 left off, considering episodes 2 and 3 took place before that. So, anyways, let's get on with it. So, as usual, it was another pointless Valentine's Day where people were buying other people's shit that person most likely forget about 5 hours or so after getting that gift, you know, whether it be candy or flowers, you name it, that person will most likely forget that gift that they received from their lover, if you can call him a lover, after about 6 hours or so of actually having it. But I digress. Anyways, moving on. After what happened at the hospital on Halloween night, I had started perfecting my skills more and more as a serial killer. And I felt that Valentine's Day would be the perfect day to truly show myself off. After all, Valentine's Day is pretty notorious for being the day that a massacre happened, known as the Valentine Massacre. So, might as well bring that day back to life. I mean, why not? Hell of a way to bring back the series after a 2-month hiatus, huh? Anyways, moving on. It was a beautiful February the 14th, you know, Valentine's Day. Maybe the 15th considering when this video is being uploaded, or the 16th considering on how late I'm going to be uploading this video. But I digress. Anyways, as usual, people were confessing to their special someone, or getting someone to be their special Valentine, even though this kind of day could be spent on any other day. I mean, if you truly did care about someone that you love, then why would you wait for a certain day in the year, right? But I digress with that shit. Anyways, I had been preparing for the massacre that I had planned for later on today. Instead of using any sort of melee weapon like I had previously at that hospital, instead this time I was gonna use a gun. I mean, if I really want to massacre people, then might as well use a weapon, you know, a firearm of sorts that can easily take down people in an instant. So, I was going to be using an AK-47. Where I got it from? Well, that's no one else's business but mine. Anyways, it was a typical AK-47 that you'd probably seen many times before. Overall, very metal looking, but with some wood mixed in here and there. That being the ends and maybe the clip. Who knows? It doesn't really matter, considering we're not going to be focusing on what the gun looks like, we're going to be focusing on what it's like actually slaughtering people. So, I decided I'd go to a park to kill a few couples here and there. I mean, why not? Seems like a good place to start, or end it. You know, get a few kills in, and move on with my day. Having finally decided my location, I'd gone up from my chair, gotten a coat, put it on, took my gun and concealed it in my coat so no one would obviously see it, stepped out the door of my house, had gotten to my car, and then drove over to the park to start my massacre. After a few minutes of driving, I had finally arrived at my location. The only reason it took a few minutes was because I lived fairly close to the park. Walking distance probably would have taken me about 10 minutes or so, but that's besides the point. Anyways, the first thing I noticed as soon as I parked was that there was some snow on the ground considering it had snowed not all that long ago. I saw a few couples around, some on benches, some by the trees, which was a surprise considering how cold the ground was considering once again it had snowed recently and there was still snow and ice on the ground. There was also a bit of a sunset clouded behind all the gloom in the sky considering it was about 5 or so in the afternoon, so obviously around this time it was going to start getting a bit dark out. But anyways, moving on with what actually matters. Scanning my location as a way to mentally and physically prepare myself for what would be my future allocations. I had examined my location as a way to know what exactly I was going to be getting into. I noticed that there was about 10 or so couples, some by the trees, some sitting on benches, basically any place that couples would be sitting on Valentine's Day at a park. So, now knowing exactly what I was getting myself into, I had pulled my gun out of my coat, had aimed it, and then fired. Unfortunately, my job wasn't done because there was one guy left, although wounded, and so I had finally finished the job by shooting him, of course. And now, with the job done, there was one last thing I wanted to do before actually leaving going back home. I wanted to actually check out the bodies and see the damage that I had done. The first body I had gone to had quite a few bullet holes in him. For starters, he was bleeding out all over the place from the few bullet holes considering how pivotal and how severe the damage was. The blood was all over, leaking all over the ice. It was a pretty bloody mess. Same could be said with all the other, now, corpses, that is. Quite a bit of blood all over. It was pretty disgusting, organs leaking out and whatnot. You could even hear a little noise from all the blood leaking out. But yeah, just another day for a Valentine's Massacre. But hey, that's just how things go, you know? Besides, everyone's gonna die at one point, so might as well have their death come a bit earlier than others. Well, with some people, that is. Yeah, quite the day that was. So now, with everything I'd wanted to do completed, I got into my car and then drove back home. And seeing as I still had my weapon with me, there was no evidence of that happening. And it's not like anyone could find me. I made sure to cover up the evidence by, dropping all the corpses into the nearby river, of course. And so, with my civic duty now out of the way, I could finally go in and relax at home. So, you're probably wondering, what exactly are the reasons for the events that have just transpired not all that long ago? Well, the answer is, it seemed fun. And I'm not saying that because I'm insane, but because, well, it was fun, and who doesn't like having a little bit of fun, right? Please, don't feel threatened, just know that we're all different in one way or another, and we all like having fun in one way or another. Everyone's different, aren't they? Just be careful what you do, and maybe something like this won't happen to you. Anyways, that's all I had to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please, if you would, like this video, because if you don't, I'll have to find you and kill you. Well, depending on how I feel, that is. But yeah, until next time, I'm out.